For this cycle 3, I'd like you to have your notebook with you, and as you read, annotate any sarcastic or funny moments in the narration. And I want you to think about whether you'd be friends with Max, why or why not. I want you to write these down. Um, During this text, we're going to see a bit of slang that Max is going to use. The first one is the tube, that means TV. Second one is albino, that means without color. Vegetate means to spend time in a passive, inactive way, like a seed in the ground. And vegetate, if you think about it, during this quarantine, you might just be sitting on the couch or just like not doing anything sometimes. That's what it means to vegetate. And the last one is pick my navel, or Mr. Bellybutton lent himself. This refers to navel gazing. It's an expression that means absorbed in one's own thoughts, feelings, and concerns to the exclusion of all others. So just thinking about yourself. All right, I'd like you to open up to page 48 and have your notes ready. Starting after the three dots. Like I said, it turns out to be a pretty cool summer. Usually what I do is hang around and look at my comic books and watch the tube, or go shopping with Graham if she really makes a fuss. I hate the beach because the beach is stupid. The cool crowd looking sleek and tanned, and aren't we gorgeous? And because if you saw me lying on a blanket, you'd go, "Hey, why is that albino walrus wearing sunglasses?" So mostly I just vegetate in the basement and pick my navel, to quote Grimm, Mr. Bellybutton lint himself. Freak changes all that. Each and every morning, the little dude humps himself over and he bangs on the bulkhead. Wonka wonka wonka. He might be small, but he sure is noisy. "Get out of bed, you lazy beast! There are fair maidens to rescue, dragons to slay!" Which is what he says every single morning, exactly the same thing, until it's like he's hit this alarm clock, and as soon as I hear the words wonka wonka wonka, or as soon as I hear the wonka 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 of him beating the bulkhead, I know what's coming next. Fair maidens and dragons, and Freak with that wake up the world grin of his, going, "Hurry up with the cereal. How can you eat that much? You big ox, come on, let's do something." He is so full of ever ready energy, you can practically hear his brain humming, and he can never sit still. "Ants in the pants," I say one morning when he's ready to yank the cereal bowl off the table, and he's in such a hurry to do something, and he goes, "What?" And I go, "You must have ants in your pants." And he gets this funny look, and he goes, "That's what the fair Gwen always says. Did she tell you to say that?" And I shake my head and finish the cereal real slow, and Freak goes, "For your information, there are 2,247 known subspecies of hymenopteran insects, Latin name Formicidae, and none of them are in my pants." Which cracks me up, even though I don't understand a word he's saying. "I propose a quest," he says. "We shall journey far to the east and see what lies there." I want to pause there real quick. Um, on page 49, Max narrates Freak changes all that. What does Freak change? I want you to think about how Max was spending his days in past summers. What is he now doing? How did Freak change that? All right, and then we can go back to our book. By now I know what a quest is because Freak has explained the whole deal, how it started with King Arthur trying to keep all his knights busy by making them do things that proved how strong and brave and smart they were, or sometimes uh, or sometimes how totally numb. Because how else can you explain dudes running around inside big clunky tin cans and praying all the time? Which I don't mention to Freak because he's very sensitive about knights and quests and secret meanings. Like how a dragon isn't really just a big slimy fire-breathing monster, it's a symbol of nature or something. A dragon is fear of the natural world, Freak says, an archetype of the unknown. I go, "What's an archetype?" And Freak sighs and shakes his head and reaches into his knapsack for his dictionary. This is true. He really does keep a dictionary in his knapsack. It's his favorite book, and he pulls it out like Arnold Schwarzenegger pulling out a machine gun or something. That's the fierce look he gets with the book in his hand. Go on, he says, making me take the book. Look it up. And now I wish I hadn't said anything about this archetype dude, because I hate looking up stuff in this stupid dictionary. Start with A, he says. I know that. A-R, he says. Just go along the A's until you come to A-R. Yeah, right. Easy for a genius to use the dictionary since he already knows how to spell the words, and R's never look like backward E's to Freak, which is the way they look to me sometimes, unless I really squint and think about it. Careful, he says. You'll bite off your tongue, and then we'll have to waste the day at the emergency room getting it reattached. Microsurgery is such a bore. Didn't anybody ever tell you that? Huh? I say, but I do close my mouth so my tongue doesn't stick out. I'm still looking in the dictionary for archetype, and I'm looking for words that aren't underlined in red ink because that's what Freak does the first time he looks up a word. He makes me underline it. You'd be amazed how many are underlined. There are whole pages like that where he's looked up every single word. Finally, he spells out all the letters for me, and I find the stupid word. There's nothing about dragons in here, I say, squinting hard at the stuff under the word. It just says pattern. So what is it? A sewing type of thing? Freak has this disgusted look and he takes the dictionary and he goes, You're hopeless. Pattern is the first definition. I was referring to the second definition, which is more interesting. A universal symbol or idea in the psyche, expressed in dreams or dreamlike images. Like that helps, right? I'm getting bored with the dictionary, so I pretend to understand, and Freak finally gives up and he shakes his head and goes, I don't know why I bother. Dinosaurs had brains the size of peanuts and they ruled the earth for 100 million years. Wow. Looking at our last question of this, how might the day described throughout this section be an archetypal example of their summer together? Read that excerpt on archetypes to help you answer. When you're done, move on to the exit ticket.